Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Happy Aura channel. It is your friend and life coach, Jenny, here with you today. I am so incredibly grateful that you have decided to pause your busy day, put down your to-do list, and spend some meaningful time with me. I want you to find a comfortable spot. Maybe it is your favorite armchair by the window. Or perhaps you are plugging in your headphones while you take a gentle walk in nature. Wherever you are, take a deep, cleansing breath in and let it all out. Today, we are going to dive into the most fascinating, complex, and beautiful subject in the entire human experience. We are going to talk about love. Specifically, we are going to explore the mechanics of attraction and what actually makes one person fall deeply, irrevocably in love with another. There is something distinctly spooky, is there not, in the idea of there being any set route to making one person fall in love with another. When we talk about strategies for love, it often feels cold or manipulative. It threatens to transform what should be an unconsciously based mystery, a strike of lightning, a twist of fate, into a generic, programmatic maneuver. We want love to be magic, not a recipe. We want it to be a fairy tale, not a checklist. And yet, my friends, it may be no violation of our integrity to observe the reality of human connection. If we look closely, with the eyes of a scientist and the heart of a poet, we can see patterns. We can observe that when people do feel attracted to one another, certain factors will often, to a remarkable extent, be present. It is not about tricking someone. It is about embodying the qualities that the human heart is desperate to find. 3 moves in particular appear to be central to the genesis of love. These are the ingredients that turn a stranger into a soulmate. The first ingredient is curiosity. The leading evidence for a harbinger of love is curiosity. To be attracted to someone is, first and foremost, to want to know more. It is to have a constantly renewed appetite for questions. And I am not talking about the standard, boring cocktail party questions. I am not talking about, what do you do for a living? Or where did you go to college? Those are questions about data. Love is not about data. Love is about essence. True curiosity asks questions that aim to unearth why someone is the way they are. It seeks to understand what they aspire to, who shaped them, and where they are headed. We feel we are in the presence of someone properly invested in us when the questions go deeper than the surface. We feel a spark when we hear things like, "Why do you think you did not stay with them after that?" Or, "How come the job did not, in the end, work out?" Or, "What do you believe made it so hard to say anything in that moment?" Imagine you are on a date. You are nervous. You are wondering if your hair looks okay. And then, the person across from you looks you in the eye and asks, "When or where might you want to go next in your life?" Suddenly, the noise of the restaurant fades away. You feel seen. You feel that this person is not just looking at your face, but looking into your soul. Of course, the questions have to be gently handled. This is an art form, not an interrogation. The curiosity that wins us over must be measured, discreet, and unpressured. It should not feel like a job interview. A lot of the time, we will be unaware that we are even being asked anything. We will just feel that we have a lot to say. We will find ourselves talking about things we have not thought about in years. Ideally, our interlocutor, that beautiful person sitting across from us, will hover over things we have described and make remarks that subtly invite us to deepen our reflections. They might say, "I suppose it must have been difficult to find the energy to leave when you were so tired." Or, "I wonder if it was sad knowing that they are now with someone who does not understand them." Do you see the difference? Nothing here is being solicited head-on. They are not prying, but a space is nevertheless created in which our thoughts can evolve. It is a safe container for our truth. We might add that the curiosity that especially counts is the sort that is alive to pain. This is crucial, my friends. We all have pain. We all carry scars. The kind of curiosity that builds love is sensitive to what it would have felt like not to have so many friends at university, or to have developed a certain kind of illness at a young age. We feel ready to fall in love with a person who signals that what truly interests them is not just what is going well. Anyone can celebrate your promotion. Anyone can compliment your new car. But we fall for the person who inquires into our ex, who never said goodbye properly. We fall for the person who asks about our father, who was distant and preoccupied, or our mother, who mixed her affections with jealousy and a desire for control. We bond over the broken places. We may well feel aligned with someone who shares our interests and hobbies. It is nice to both like hiking or to both enjoy sushi, but we will feel intimately connected to someone who knows about and can tolerate our suffering. Our culture heavily associates the birth of romance with physical moves, with a kiss, or a touch, or an embrace. But genuine romance begins somewhere else. It begins somewhere far less cinematic and a lot more nourishing. It begins with a sense of being known. The second factor, the second secret ingredient, is broad-mindedness. At the same time that we crave being known, we have a deep, instinctual fear. The great terror of being known is that it is going to lead us to being judged. We worry that if someone sees who we really are, if they see our messy habits, our strange thoughts, our past mistakes, they will run away. We fear rejection, which is why the most enticing people let us know subtly that they have a great deal of room for weirdness. Not just general weirdness, but our weirdness. They signal that they are not looking for perfection. They are looking for humanity. They do not need to make a speech on the matter. It would be awkward if they sat down and said, "I accept transgressions and do not moralize around flaws." That sounds like a legal contract. Rather, they make their point through indirect revelations. They create safety by being vulnerable themselves. They tell us casually, of some of the less glamorous bits of their own pasts. Maybe they smile and admit, last week, I was so stressed that I ate 5 packs of biscuits in a row and cried all weekend. When they say that, what happens to you? You exhale. You think, oh, thank goodness, they are not perfect either. Or maybe they comment on other people's lives in ways that suggest they do not care for standard definitions of normality or goodness. They might hear a story about a scandal and say, why would anyone care what he did so long as no one got hurt? This attitude is magnetic. It draws us in like a moth to a flame. The result is a sense that around this person, we could show a great deal of ourselves without running into censure or prudishness. We realize we do not have to wear the mask of the perfect professional, or the cool girl, or the strong man. We could collapse. We could admit we were scared. We could say we could not be bothered to go out, or that we hated a popular movie, or that we have a strange phobia of cotton balls, and it would be more than fine. It would be accepted. Broad-mindedness is the antidote to shame. And since we all carry shame, the person who relieves us of it becomes the most beautiful person in the world to us. The third ingredient, and perhaps the most important one, is kindness. The third ingredient of love is both the most benign sounding and the most essential. We often overlook it because it sounds so simple. Be kind. It sounds like something we tell toddlers, but in the context of adult love, kindness is a superpower. We need to feel in the presence of someone who is kind because we all know deep down that we are so much in need of generous interpretations. We are often our own worst critics. Inside our heads, there is a voice that is constantly berating us. Why did we fail at that project? Why are we so slow to learn? Why are we so weak-willed when it comes to our diet? Why do we not take more care of our appearance? There are plenty of ostensible reasons for our failures, and most of them are at the top of our minds every new day. We tell ourselves it is because we are wretched, because we are not good enough, because we are ugly and corrupt and banal. We can do all this very well on our own. Self-flagellation is our second nature. We do not need a partner to do this for us. We are experts at beating ourselves up. What we cannot do, what is so incredibly hard for us to do for ourselves, is to come up with kinder, more livable answers. We struggle to find the answers that depend on love. We need someone else to say, you are not weak, you are exhausted. We need someone to say, you did not fail, you were learning. We need a partner who can see that we are struggling because we had a tricky start in life, because we did not have certain lucky breaks, because we would have needed so much more encouragement than we received. We need someone who looks at our flaws and sees the history behind them, not just the result. When we are late, we need someone who thinks, she must be overwhelmed, not she is disrespectful. When we are irritable, we need someone who thinks, he is frightened, not he is mean. This is the essence of kindness in love. It is the ability to interpret behavior in the most generous possible light. We spend a great deal of time hoping our future lovers might be pretty, or tall, or rich. We swipe left and right based on photos. We look for status. We look for excitement. And listen, these are fine qualities. There is nothing wrong with wanting attraction or stability. But if we ever find a home, a true emotional home, one that can shelter us from the inner storms of our self-doubt and the outer storms of a harsh world, it is going to have to be one built out of these three ingredients: curiosity, broad-mindedness, and kindness. So, how do we apply this? How do we use this knowledge to improve our lives and our relationships? First, we must become the person we are looking for. If you want to attract this kind of love, you must embody these traits. Ask yourself, when was the last time I was truly curious about someone? When did I last ask a question that went beyond the surface? Practice deep listening. Practice asking, how did that feel? Instead of just nodding along. Be the person who makes others feel seen. Second, cultivate broad-mindedness. When you see someone behaving strangely or making a mistake, try to suspend judgment. Try to remember that everyone is fighting a hard battle. Share your own vulnerabilities. Be the first one to admit that you ate the 5 packs of biscuits. Be the first one to say, I am struggling today. You will be amazed at how this opens the door for others to love you. And third, practice kindness, not just to others, but to yourself. It is hard to be a generous interpreter of others if you are a harsh prosecutor of yourself. Start by softening the voice in your own head. When you make a mistake, treat yourself with the same gentleness you would offer a child. This self-kindness will radiate outward and attract people who treat you with the same care. Love is not about finding a perfect person. It is about finding a person who is curious about your imperfections, broad-minded enough to accept them, and kind enough to soothe them. And remember, this works both ways. When you meet someone new, do not just look at their shoes or their watch. Look at their questions. Are they curious about you? Do they listen when you talk about your pain? Do they judge you when you admit a flaw? Or do they smile with understanding? Are they kind to the waiter? Are they kind to the dog? Are they kind to you when you are not at your best? These are the green flags. These are the signs that a real, lasting, nourishing love is possible. I want you to take a moment right now to imagine a relationship built on these pillars. Imagine coming home to someone who asks, "How was your day?" and really wants to know the answer. Imagine sitting on the couch with someone who knows your deepest fears and holds your hand anyway. Imagine making a mistake and being met with a hug instead of a lecture. This is not a fantasy. This is what healthy love looks like, and it is available to you. You are worthy of this kind of love. You are worthy of being known. You are worthy of being accepted. You are worthy of kindness. As you go about your week, I invite you to carry these 3 words with you: curiosity, broad-mindedness, kindness. Let them be your compass. Let them guide your interactions with your partner, your friends, your family, and even strangers. Watch how the world softens around you when you lead with these qualities. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. It is always such a joy to share these thoughts with you. I hope this helps you navigate the sometimes choppy, but always beautiful waters of love. Remember, the happy aura starts from within. It starts with how we treat ourselves and how we invite others into our world. You have the power to create the love you desire. I am sending you so much love, so much light, and so much hope. Until next time, take care of your beautiful hearts. Let us consider for a moment longer the sheer relief of broad-mindedness. I want to expand on this because we live in such a judgmental world. We are constantly being evaluated. At work, we have performance reviews. On social media, we are counted by likes. In society, we are judged by our bank accounts. It is exhausting. It wears down the soul. That is why a partner who offers a judgment-free zone is not just a luxury. They are a necessity for mental health. When you find someone who says, "I love you, weirdness and all," it is like taking off a tight pair of shoes after a long day. It is a physical sensation of release. So, if you are dating, look for the person who laughs at your clumsiness. Look for the person who finds your obsession with collecting stamps or watching old cartoons endearing, not embarrassing. That is the person who will be there for the long haul. And on the flip side, be that person for them. If they tell you something embarrassing, hold it gently. Do not use it as ammunition later. Treat their secrets like precious jewels. That trust is the foundation of everything. And regarding kindness, let us go deeper into the generous interpretation. This is a skill you can practice every single day. If your partner forgets to take out the trash, the ungenerous interpretation is, "They are lazy and they do not care about me." The generous interpretation is, "They had a stressful day and it slipped their mind." Which interpretation leads to a fight? And which one leads to connection? It is a choice. Every single time, it is a choice. Choose kindness. Choose to believe the best in the person you love. Of course, this does not mean accepting abuse or bad behavior. But in a healthy relationship, assuming good intent is the glue that holds you together through the rough patches. I really want you to get this. Love is a verb. It is something we do. We do curiosity. We do broad-mindedness. We do kindness. It is an active process of creating a safe harbor for another human being. So go out there and build that harbor. Build it with your questions. Build it with your acceptance. Build it with your gentle words. You have got this. You are capable of deep, profound, life-changing love. I believe in you. Thank you again for listening. I appreciate you more than I can say. Keep shining your light. Keep asking the deep questions. Keep being the beautiful, messy, wonderful humans that you are, sending you one final wave of warmth and affection. Goodbye for now, my friends. Be good to yourselves